Okay.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection.
And this time, I'm discussing Dr. Umar Johnson, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, known to others as the King of Simps. Dr. Umar is one of those people who is educated, but some of his talking points, they end at a certain point when he gets to talking about or describing how black men and black women relate to each other. He has to cater to his target base, which is women, or black women specifically. But there's a clip from the Daily Wrap-Up crew that just kind of struck a nerve with me, and I feel like it's really something that I had to make a video about. But I'll roll the clip and then react to it. Fair use. This is a reaction.
And what I also tell black women, if you're going to go get you an African man from the continent, you're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Why the fuck is it tolerated?
It's not tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Well, over here, I want to say this to us, though, because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down, or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection.
So pay attention to the key phrases that he said. Basically, it doesn't, like, if it's the same rhetoric. These are, if you listen and close your eyes, like if you were to just hear this from a female, you would think, oh yeah, this is just normal female talking points. It's always one-sided with him. Like, black men should just deal with and put up with whatever, hey, be a man and suck it up, whatever the case. It doesn't matter what they do. We have to be better. That's not going to get us anywhere. And it hasn't for, 50 years or more? What he's proposing doesn't work. Apparently, accountability only works one way. What he's proposing is that somehow we have to be responsible for what the last guy did, or we're accountable because historically these things have happened to black men and they haven't had the best selection. But he went on in this whole entire interview earlier. He said, oh yeah, I'm aware of the CIA's involvement as far as Gloria Steinem and feminism and how it affected the black community. You can admit that, but still won't say, hey, black women have to change somewhat. You have to meet black men halfway in order for this thing to work. Let's be clear. There's an 80% divorce rate. He'll never touch that subject. He'll never broach the subject because he'll do the same thing he just did here and say, well, hey, you got to step up and just, step up to the plate. He doesn't have any real answer. His answer is black women don't have to do anything. You're the problem. Just fix it. But I got to be honest, with an 80% divorce rate, it seems to me like black women really don't want to be wives. To a black woman, I think family is a mother and her child. And that's been our problem. Because the average rate or age for having a child is around 22, 23. The average rate for a black woman who does end up getting married is 32, 33. So the priority has never been marriage first and have kids later. It's I'll just have kids whenever, however. And then you see plenty of times on these YouTube channels, Kendra G, whatever, I'll just have 6 kids. And when I turn 30, hey, somebody needs to marry me. What's going on? And now black men aren't this and that because they don't step up to the plate. But I have some other clips to kind of prove my point or further show what I mean as far as the dysfunction and how we just can't get it right. And it's going to take black women meeting us halfway, which they're not going to do. They don't have any incentive because there's the welfare state. Even if you do get married, all right, give me his money.
Like, I've always been the breadwinner in my relationships, and I realize now that I'm older and I looked at my dating patterns that I always pick the guy who don't have the most money because I like to control the situation.
I said that.
I like to be able to
times.
leave when I want to leave. I like to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I am attracted to alpha males, but alpha males, they're attracted to me initially physically, but once they figure out like we're both like this, they're like, oh, no, we can't do this.
Would you consider yourself an alpha woman?
Absolutely.
Saying all that, you're saying we are 50% wrong. That's right. They are 50% wrong too. That's in that case. So we need a mutual understanding. We don't need to become slaves to them.
Well, we can't get any understanding until we accept our share of the responsibility. The black man has always been picked up by everyone and talked about why he's wrong, what he's doing that's not correct, and how he has left us and mismanaged his family, but we've never examined why he has left us. He's left us because we are too hard to get along with.
So the clip I just played is probably at least 30 years apart. And the point is that like nothing has changed. Nothing will change. You've got half of your black male population, adult black men, 50% of us don't have kids and have never been married. So who or what is the actual problem when you can't say that we're all just out here having kids all over the place when most of us haven't been married? So the rhetoric that he spreads is toxic. It's detrimental to our image and it just serves no purpose. But please like, follow, and subscribe for more.